Hey guys, we're jumping right into it today. I am truly over the moon honored to be talking with our next guest. Listen, y'all, I need y'all to grab paper and pencil. He is bringing in so much good information for us. Today's opening question, and we're talking about how do you unlock that path of fearless communication, not just in your classroom, but with your leadership. So, I can't wait, y'all. I'm excited. Can't y'all see? I'm bubbling on this one. It's feeling good to my soul, y'all. It's feeling good. So I want to welcome you all. Welcome and come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Y'all know this is the Patrice Brantley podcast show. Make sure you're catching me on YouTube at Patrice B channel. Make sure you're catching me on IG at the Patrice B channel. Make sure you catch me on Facebook at Patrice Brantley. And also for my faith-based people, because y'all know how we do. I gotta always bring me some good faith in on everything that I do. Make sure you catch me at Patrice B channel, the number 2. All right, catch on in, jump on in. We got some announcements in the building. So, coming up soon, we will be jumping into group sessions and workshops. Keep your ear tuned in to the ground so you can find out what's going on soon. I don't want you to miss out. Have you already jumped in with us for this beginning of the year? You know, we did our 31 days with Jesus from the beginning. If you haven't started, it's not too late. You can catch up with us on Facebook. We've already gotten those lined up. Don't forget to do the prompts. All right, y'all, hold on. I gotta slow up because this is it's bubbling to me. It's feeling good. I need y'all to know the guest today, Mr. Norberto, has such a powerful story that when I heard it, I gasped. And y'all know I don't really gasp about too much. But he gave me such good stuff that I was like, I gotta share him with the world. I can't leave this man out here with all this good stuff by himself. It is so good. So I need y'all to come on, bring it in, give it to me, give it so much for being here with us this morning.
You cut off Patrice, but I don't know if you said hi or anything about. I was just like, "Hi, everyone. Very nice to be with all of you today."
I'm so thrilled for you to be with us today because as you're coming in, you have such a powerful story. But I want to go back a little bit. For those who've been with me, you know I love to ask people, what's your story? But I want to break your story up into two pieces because there's so much power in that piece for me, but I don't want to rush it. I want to do it in a way that people get to hear all of you, that they get a full experience and taste of you because you have so much to offer. Tell me, what was your story growing up? Before we get to the day that everything changed, just talk to me about that young man who you were growing up.
I was somebody who didn't want to talk to nobody, so I that's kind of ironic for who I am now. But I was an introvert, and growing up in the South Bronx, I was someone that was just trying to just keep out of trouble, keep out of danger. I didn't know what was the problem. I just knew my mom's like, "You better come home at this time," and
Oh,
that's
wow.
one thing. But then my dad's like, "No, she's serious," and I'm like, "Okay." So
Oh, wow.
it was one of those things where I was really much growing up just being what I would think is just a normal kid. I had some issues where I wasn't good with communication at the time. I couldn't really speak and put words together. And then I just didn't like talking to adults or anybody. So I found like voice through like being able to do singing, or they would be like, I can do like drawing, like I could draw and I could do that, but like talking to people, no, I don't want to do that.
So I love that you talk about being that introverted kid that was quiet, right? And you said your way to express was through singing. I love that because I always talk about every child has their way that they can learn and communicate with others. And just because it doesn't look like somebody else's style doesn't mean they're not getting it. It's just they're doing it in a different way. Now, what I'm hoping for y'all is that he'll give us a little taste of this singing before we leave up out of here, because you threw that out there, so I want to see what he's really working with. The other piece that I love about it is that you talked about being in that household who really understood not just you being cared for, but they really like explained to you like this is important. So many times we have parents who just say, "This is what I said," and that's it. And your household was like, "No, this is really serious, like life or death." We always see the Bronx on TV, and people think of it in a certain negative light or in a certain way. But I think it's just a way of growing up and showing someone that you love them and you care for them. So I love that you shared that story.
I mean,
What was your
I would push and argue like, everyone thinks that places are dangerous. I'm like, you're so
mm,
cute. Because I'm like, I wouldn't say that, and I'm saying that in the most lovable way possible, and saying
uh-huh.
you don't really know an environment or a location. All locations are neutral, but what you go through, like the actual experience, is what dictates whether
Mm,
it's good or bad. Not like there are some places I'm like I don't like it, but people
gotcha.
that have lived there or people that live currently there, they
Mhm.
can tell me something different. And I'm like, okay, as somebody who's gone around the country, I can say, okay, copy. So the Bronx is the same for me. I mean, a lot of people think they're demonizing it all the time. And I'm like, you've never been. Or if you do it, you just look at paper clippings and you just assume. And because you assume, you think you're right. And last time I checked, that's not how it works.
I love that you brought that out because, like you said, people tend to demonize an area or they go, oh, you're from there. And they kind of clutch, right? But
Mhm.
like you just said something so beautiful. It's not the place, it's the experience in the place. And I love that because it sounds like you had a place that for you, where other people would be clutching their pearls and be nervous, you was like, this was home. And I could tell as you talk about it, it was a place of warmth for you.
Yeah.
So I love this piece. Now take me from this young kid from the Bronx who was not really wanting to talk to many people to life and education. How did we go from that? How did we get to that transition?
I mean, if I'm being honest with you, Patrice, I didn't want education. I don't like school. I just,
Oh wow. Isn't that something?
yeah, it's bad. It was so much so I was told I must have like selective memory and or what I went through. Maybe I forgot, but a lot of my peers and my former teachers said, no, you weren't rebellious. Like you got your work done, but if you thought that something was unfair, you made it known. And you used our logic and our rules against us. And I'm like, I don't even know what that means. And they said, well, yeah, you were the, and my friend Lavette, she literally said, yeah, no, I remember clearly, Norberto, we were in social studies, ninth grade. The teacher said something. You're like, that's not accurate. And she's like, yes, it is. I'm the teacher. You have to listen to me. And I'm like, ma'am, with all due respect, I have your handbook right here. Like your, and the person else, like if we look over here specifically, it seems like you're contradicting this point. Now I can talk to your supervisor and we can talk about whether that's correct or not because I could be wrong. I'm what at the time I'm what 15.
That's what I'm saying. You're like 14
But
or
I'm
15.
just saying, let's just pretend I'm right. I don't think that's gonna help you. So I became somebody like that where I was just kind of in your face. I'm like, hey, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Now I just kind of lean in on the verses. Wisdom is proven to be right by its results. So I'm like, hey, you say what you want. Look at my fruit. We good. But yeah, no, I was that type of person where I'm like, just show me. So it became the same thing with the Bronx. It's just like you say it's bad. I mean, all right, bro, but like you tell me, like tell me where you live, tell me how long you've been here, tell me who you associate with. There's bad and good in every situation. So for me, I just started to learn that practice was what did it. Like doing it is what does it, and that has really followed me into adulthood, especially with teaching. So education I didn't want anything to do with it. Like once I graduated, I'm like, once I get my diploma, school's never coming back in my mind. I'm gonna do acting, performing, and I was on trajectory to do that. Like I was doing like some like off Broadway shows. I was in the running for a Broadway show as well. Like I was in like the early stages of like the Hamilton casting, and like it was like I'm like great. I don't have to deal with teachers ever. I don't have to deal with students ever again. I'm good. And then what happened to me in 2018 happened. And it was one of those things where I'm like, okay, I got to figure out a way to get back in there because I can't like move how I used to. However, we can figure it out. I'm never the one that's just like, I'm done. I don't do that. So I found a way to do operations. And somebody that was like the head of a school who used to be my Spanish teacher, she wrote me and she's just like, hey, I heard you're in this network, you should teach at my school. I said, ma'am, no, because I don't think I teaching. I can't do that. I don't wanna. And she's just like, and she calls me Birdie. She's like Birdie because I always used to like go to trips or fly, or I used to do a lot of debate competitions. They would be out of town, so
Uh-huh.
I'm always not there during her class. But I'm like, Miss, you don't even have to worry about it. I'm gonna have your assignment when I get back. You don't even know what it is. I know you're gonna tell me. So I mean, I don't think you're gonna have to do that. So I had an A plus, and I got a 5 on the AP exams. I'm good. But literally, like she would say, "Birdie, stop! Like just give it a shot." And I'm like, "Okay, for you, I'll give it a year. I'll give it
Okay.
my first year. If it sucks, hey, whatever." And the lives that I've been thankful that I have changed in that first year really cemented, oh, maybe I can do education. Like maybe it's worth a shot. And then with like speech and debate coaching, I'm like, oh, I'm just here to help and assist. And they're like, no, sir, you're doing you're
Oh.
some upper level stuff. Then they're like, hey, we have some people at Stanford that would love to hire you to be like an adjunct like instructor there
Hmm.
for like these couple of years. I'm like, you're gonna have to give me a second because I was at the bodega when they said this. I was waiting for my bacon, egg, and cheese when they were giving me that offer, and I'm like, you're telling me I'm about to, I have to, when do I have to do this? Like you should decide in the next 24 hours and be on a plane in 3 days. And I'm like,
Whoa.
planning? Like, is that not
Oh,
like what?
wow.
It's just like somebody came out, and then when they're like, "Oh, who do you recommend?" and then you came to my mind, so I called you, and I'm
Oh,
like,
wow.
okay, so in 3 days, Patrice, I was in Palo Alto. I was in San Francisco, and I'm like, I don't know
Mhm.
how to do this. And at the end, same experience. Kids were just like, this is the most amazing thing we have ever done. We are so thankful. And I'm like, all of these things, these micro affirmations of education, like doing
Mhm.
that would have never gone there if I didn't do it. So that's why with me, my branding has always been you have to do it scared because it's like I didn't want to. I thought I sucked. Like why would I do this? But like in every single instance, again, wisdom is proven to be right by its results. I see what was possible. So that's where education came from me. Like it was like I didn't want to do it. Though
Mhm.
they're like, you're probably better than you think you are. And I'm like, great, but that's your opinion, not mine. And I'm me. But they're smarter than I am. So I was like, let me just try it out. And thankfully it worked out. So that's where we're at today.
What I love about just this piece is that you clearly showed how they say your gift will make room for you. And your name had traveled indoors that she was like, I'm not qualified for this. This is not what I'm supposed to be doing. And people are going, it is him. He's the one. Like, get him to do this. And then, literally, for you, I would say it's the proof in the pudding, right? The kids were coming to you and saying, wow, we had a great time. We enjoyed this. We got something out of it. And I find that I'm tickled because I find it's always the kids who are like, I didn't want to do this, I didn't want to deal with education, that make the best teachers in this process. Because it's like, I knew what didn't work for me, I knew what made me feel bored, I knew what I didn't like. And now I get to change it up and do it in a way that I can grab attention. I can connect with them in a way that they will get it. You alluded to something that said you knew that things could make it happen. Walk a little bit more with me and tell me, once you got into the educational space in this way, was it still kind of this, I know I got it, or I'm kind of still learning as I go? What would you say was the process?
I would say it's the systems were something that I knew I had to get a handle on, but in terms
Okay.
of like doing it, I was never really like scared of what I was capable of. I'm like, I know me. I know enough to know I'm the because that's who I am. And I think about a lot of times it's kind of like certain people may not have the structure, but they know what they got to do. Like it's not
Gotcha.
they aren't structured, but it's in their soul. That's all you really need. So
Mhm.
for me, I knew okay, SOPs, lesson plans, all the KPI language that we got to learn. It was gonna like okay, I don't know any of it, but when it comes down to it, it's like execution wise, I've been known to be the type of dude that's like, no, he's gonna get results. He just needs to learn what those results mean. And I'm like, okay. So when I was learning that in education, it really was like, okay, let me just try something. And I try it, it works, yay. It doesn't work, okay, well now I'm learning things. Um and I think
Mm.
that has been um like the main thing for me has been like aggressive failure,
Oh,
because
wow.
I want to fail. Like, this is the point. I feel, and I think in spaces for us in education, spaces for us as professionals, spaces for us as Christians, we aren't really good at failing. And it's just like the only way for you to get to the other side of whatever it is you have to scale the mountain. You think you're not going to trip. You're thinking that you're not going to have a stumble, a milestone, a problem. And the thing is, with my students, I make that clear. And again, my students in in the school that I was at, my students around the world now, it's literally been like, hey, do it. And they're like, I don't want to. I'm like, one, I didn't ask, but two, I would kind of say, and I just use that language. It's because I remember how they used to say that when they were my classmates.
Hmm.
I'm just like, bro, please, like, you need to stop. One, I'm from the same hood you are, so we could just cut that real quick. Two, you don't know me, you don't wanna. If you don't want to know that side of me, don't even bother it. And three, you're probably way more full of purpose than you ever thought you were. Can you imagine if you just commit a second to it, commit a minute to it, like, just see what can happen. One rep. If I'm bad, if I'm a liar, you can sit down, I'll give you an A. If I'm lying, the problem is, Patrice, wisdom
Hmm.
is proven to be right by its results. So if you got it, it don't matter. I've seen people do whatever they need to do. So it's like, okay, do the things. Now, that might not be something that is a systematic approach. I've definitely have people that look at me like, that's not the way to.
Hmm.
And I'm like, I mean, but wisdom is proven to be right by his results. Did you not see a 30% increase in his grades week over week? Like, did
Wow.
you not see that he passed that test that you swore he was going to fail? And I'm the speech and debate teacher. Like, I'm not the math teacher, the English teacher, because communication is not about the actual subject matter. If they're scared or they're frightened or they're frustrated or they don't have the confidence, they ain't going to do it. If they give it a legitimate shot, at the
Okay.
least it'll be a high enough score. And that's my argument with people. It's like, just try it. More likely than not, you end up doing much better than you ever thought you would. But you know what's gonna definitely lead to instant failure? You sitting down. You're not even trying. You're not even going. And this is why, as a teenager, one of my favorite, and I know we be throwing scriptures here. This scripture is just like in my heart, always has been as a teenager. Uh, Galatians 6:9 says, "Do not grow weary in well doing, for in due season you will reap if you faint."
Great.
So I was just confused because for me, I'm always just like, so you're telling me that you're gonna reap, that God's gonna do all the awesome things, like you're gonna make it, it's gonna work out for you, but He
Right.
reveal that this isn't for you. But you ain't gonna find out nothing if you sit there. And then I'm like, I thought the book of James said specifically that faith without works is dead. Yet you seem to think that your wishful thinking is gonna get you anywhere. And that's the same thing. Don't pick me in class or whenever I have to deal with business clients. Oh, communication isn't that important. I don't know why I would do this with the pit that the and I'm just like, when was the last time your sales were in the green? When was the last time that you
Wow.
communicated your offer properly? When was the last time? It's different languaging between adults and kids, Patrice, but it's the same thing. It's just like when was the last time you tried? When was the last time you gave an effort? Like I went through because yesterday was Monday. With a lot of the people that I'm working with right now, I'm just like, give me your content plans. Tell me what you're gonna do in the week. Tell me what you're gonna do today, and tell me what you're gonna do in your quarter, which is in the first 3 months of the year. And when I see that, I'm like, this is trash. And I get to say that because I mean, one, you're paying me, but two, also like I like to think we're connected. I was like, you're just this is bad because it's not clear. Now, some
Wow.
of them are not Christian, but my brain goes to write the vision, make it plain, so that those read it run with it. What
There
what
you
am I
go.
running with? I'm running with a blank piece of paper. Like I'm running with this doesn't make sense
Mm.
to me. So for me, I'm very biblically based because I know, first off, I just know how Jesus is in my life, but also I'm very clear on the fact that those principles are very important, especially for me as it relates to the classroom. It's like you will
Okay.
not know until you do it.
And can I add a little bit to that?
Go for it.
You talked about not being able to do it until, well, you talked about taking that vision and making it clear. I think for a lot of people, we have that vision, But we have a vision that seems like kind of a like that Charlie Brown teacher thing where it feels like a mess.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And we need that person to stop and say, okay, I see your ball. It's not a bad ball, but let me help you straighten this out so
mhm,
that you can run and run wild with this vision. So I love this piece. And I love how you just highlighted that there is not much of a difference with communications with adults and children, but it's how you do it.
mhm.
And I think so many people think when they deal with children, they have to talk down to children. You don't have to talk down to a child. You bring them up to where you are, and then you let them see, okay, I'm deeper than I thought. Okay, I'm a little bit more together here than I thought. So I really like that piece. So you went from speech and debate, from the person who didn't want to talk to leading speech and debate. Wow.
God's funny. I will tell you that.
I was going to say, he definitely has jokes. What's been one of those spaces in life that you've been like, wow, God, I wouldn't, this was a mine, this was a bin. What's been that piece for you that made you just look back and be just in a space of awestruckness of his goodness?
Twofold.
Okay.
One, my story of a few years ago, I died. I died of stage 3 brain cancer for 11 minutes. And when I woke up, I
Wow.
wasn't able to eat, sleep, move. I wasn't able to do any of those things. And my doctors are like, if you make it, if you live past Christmas, this happened December 8th. If you make it past
Wow.
Christmas, you will not ever be able to move, eat, or any of these things again. So between like a bunch of surgeries, rehab, chemo, I have been thankful to just have beaten all of that. But that was 2019. I lost
Wow.
classmates of mine to fentanyl abuse, to drugs, to shootings, plastic surgery. Like it was just four people. I was 23. Four people is gone. I attended most of the funerals. Like one of them, I think I didn't because I had like a chemo appointment. I don't remember, but it was literally like all this stuff is happening, and then
Hmm.
2020 COVID happens, and the doctor that operated on me died of COVID. So I didn't even get to reconcile and say, "Hey, I'm
What?
doing better." Like I never got to say that, and
Oh,
because
wow.
of that, obviously you see that in me in like what it looked like a vegetative state or someone that's like you. I mean, I was contorted,
Hmm.
just drained. And you're like, how is life ever going to come out of that? Like, how is anything going to come out of that? Like,
Wow.
and I think about I don't know why I keep going to scripture with this, but like, I think about like, can these dead bones live?
Come on.
You know what
That's
I'm
that.
saying?
Hello.
Just
Come on now.
watch. So it's like seeing that. I said this when I was at a mastermind on stage. I was a keynote, and I said, I'm in front of you as an anomaly, but I'm not an attraction. Like I'm on
Mm.
assignment, and we all are, and I cannot play with that because somehow I'm here. And that leads to the second thing for me of I was let go from my job a few months ago. And literally it's like, okay, what am I doing? And I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to do this. I don't even know. It's like the first time that this has really happened. And then
Hmm.
like the next week, people are hearing through the grapevine that I was let go unjustly, and they're like, "We'll offer you a job immediately." Like I got
Wow.
many offers, and I'm like, but then something in me was just like, God, what is it? What if this is the only time that I ever get to really go in on this thing that you have in my soul? Because I know what I'm doing, what to do it on my own. I was just like, this is interesting.
Mm.
So I'm like, let me just go off. This is June, July. Let me just see what
Okay.
can happen. And, if it don't work, it don't work. I mean, people around me have been saying, yo, if you're really trying to commit to this like speaker keynote workshop thing, it's going to take probably 4 or 5 years, average, maybe more.
Wow.
Patrice, when I tell you 4 months from that
Get
July,
out.
I was invited, got the email. I'm keynoting in Canada, and
Come on now.
I'm about to speak in Australia in Sydney in July. And
Come
a
on.
bunch of things have happened. I mean, my socials, if people ever see it, it's like you're seeing that you're like, this must have been a couple of years in the making. It's like, no, like this is a couple of months. And I think about that because I'm just like just in awe of what God has done in a short amount of time.
Come on.
and it's January. It's not even like we just not even the year's passed, and it though that's what I mean. Where it's just like you really don't know start to finish what's happening like at all. But I can say that it's something where I never thought that I would be in this position. Again, this whole thing with education that wasn't even that long ago. Like I started to think about the education sphere of like trying. I told that I'd give it a shot 2021.
Okay.
So like I haven't even been like I've taught for like 15 years, but in terms of like being a teacher stationed in a brick and mortar location, I just
Okay.
didn't do that. A lot of that was like I would do consultations or I go around, but I was under a company, so it wasn't me. But
Okay.
it was just kind of like I just all this stuff like the everything 2022 was like all of this stuff. So for you to tell me like if you told me a decade ago, you told me 5 years ago that this was what I was going to be doing, that was going to be what happened.
Hmm.
I can't believe you. So I know that this is something
Wow.
God given because it's just where I was and where I am now is two completely different places.
What I love about this, and I'm gonna jump in here because you just took me on a straight journey, which you have given me hope in the middle of that. You don't even realize, right? Um, we have these moments, and I call them banner years, right? Where we see something change, and it's like, this can't be the end for me. I gotta do something different. And I feel as you were talking about it, I kept saying, that was a banner year. And the way it happened, it was so smooth and seamlessly done that you can see God's hand all over it. And as you're talking about it, all I could think was, oh my gosh. This it didn't even feel as if like you had any struggle, any nothing to it. But a lot of people wouldn't understand that. They would stop and go, well, he went through this and that, but God kept you in it. He kept you through it. You wasn't alone. And I love how when you talk about can these bones live? Yes, they can. Yes, they can. And when they get up and do something this time, they do something so miraculous that people can't help but say, looking at him, I know God did it. God gets all the honor and glory out of the story. So I'm going to go back for a second because I know bits and pieces of what you told me. You told me you died, but I don't know what happened when the day, like, what happened when you got the diagnosis date? How did that feel? What did that look like?
It was a lot of being oblivious. I mean, days before, so I used to be the head of middle school speech and debate for the network of charter schools. Which again, for like somebody in their early 20s, is just kind of like, okay, because like there's just like 40, 50-year-olds that like take commands from me. And I'm like,
Okay.
okay, so I'm here like, yeah, I'm from the Bronx too, because I'm also the only person of color on that team. I don't know why.
Oh,
So for me,
okay.
I was feeling okay, we got to consistently get things done and all the things. Um,
Okay.
but I had a headache and I didn't think much of it. But again, this is Monday, Tuesday of that week.
Okay.
On Thursday, the headache was so much so that after I was done with like a cohort in Harlem, I'm like, let me go to Montefiore. Let me go to the hospital and see what's
Okay.
up. Because previously they're like, yeah, no, you're fine. You just take more Tylenol and we'll just see in a couple of weeks what's up. And I'm like, okay. But then it was just so much so that I'm like, I just don't think this is Tylenol. And something in me was like, no. So I went in there and they wouldn't see me. So I went to the emergency room. And they're like, yeah, from what I'm seeing, everything seems to be fine. And I'm like, ma'am, with all due respect, because I know you have more degrees than I do. I just feel like that's not it. Can you do like a CT scan? I
Mm.
feel like that's probably like the correct language or, you know. And she's like, okay,
Okay.
I'll do it. She did it. And I'm here. And I'm like, okay, she's going to just tell me there's probably some super drug I've never heard of. And she'll give it to me and I'll go home. She comes back and she's like, hey, we found something. And I'm like, well, that's
What?
something I want to hear from a doctor. So,
Exactly.
so I'm like, what do you mean you found something? And she showed me on her screen this like massive tumor in my brain.
What?
And I'm like, and I'm somebody, I have way too many jokes, I swear. I'm just like, how did that get there? And it's just like, she
What?
says, we have to, we like, hey, so we're going to probably have to do an MRI to just confirm a couple of things, but we should operate on this as soon as possible. And I'm like, well, I have work in the morning. So can this be like a weekend thing? Like, or, and she's like,
Sir.
She's
She
like,
is telling you this, and you talking about, can't we do this on the
I
weekend?
just want. I'm like, we can take an appointment, and then literally she's just like, yeah, no, no, you don't. You're not understanding. Like, we have to look at this because if it is as serious as we think it is, you have maybe about a week left. I'm like, a week left of what?
Whoa.
She's like, life. I'm like, I
Get
don't.
out the front door.
I'm just like, okay. I had a headache like 2 3 days ago. You're telling me if I just descended just not to follow the prompting I felt, I would not have had Christmas? Like I'm confused. But I'm like, okay, fine. Yes, I got you. So I called my supervisor. We were very good friends. And I was just like, hey, I'm not gonna come to work tomorrow. She's just like, that's not like you at all. Like you always show up. Is everything okay? And I'm
Wow.
like, yeah. And I had two supervisors, a guy and a girl. So the guy, I guess, was meeting with the girl that day, and I heard her in the background. So I'm like, and I know how she gets because I'm essentially like her child. So I'm like, hey, please, just between us, right? I think I have cancer based on what they said. But I was on speaker. So I heard her in the back of the
Oh,
room. What? Came over. He's like, "We're coming right away!" And like they ended up in the hospital with like an hour and two. I really still to this day, Patrice, don't know how the heck because I didn't give them the information. I don't know how they found me. But they did, and it was like, and they're like, "Okay, what's gonna happen? How are we gonna?" And I've always been like the logistics guy of like I can give you guys plans and make you feel. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
uh-huh.
I'm learning to say I don't know. I have no idea, but it's gonna work out just fine, even if I don't know yet. But it happened. Get the MRI, and then they're like, okay, we're gonna do like the surgery right now. Drain some fluids. We're gonna go fine.
Wow.
That surgery, they either cut a nerve or something went wrong, and then I flatlined. And then they're like, I think this is it. And I'm getting this account from the people that told me, family members.
Yes.
But like they were just like, yeah, no. So they're like, hey, we can try. He doesn't have a do not resuscitate order, but I mean, I don't know if this is gonna work. And I don't. I hope he comes back like he can think, and I hope he doesn't come back a vegetable, basically. Um, so it's like
What?
we're just gonna see what happens. And they were able to do it, but like I just ended up slipping into a coma, and then like that was for like 2 3 weeks, 2 weeks, because I woke up on December 22nd, and then I woke up, but I couldn't move. I couldn't eat. I couldn't do anything. I had like there's this thing called replete where like it's like an IV that's like inshore esque things.
Mm.
It's, so that was what I was consuming. So I'm there and I have that. I can't speak, so I'm using a text to voice app. So like, cause I'm somebody, I'm like, I gotta get the thing done. I've never been the type to just be like, oh, I can't. No, I'm here. I'm trying to do the text to voice app because the supervisor she came in to see me, and I'm like, it's okay. I got some things to tell you about some of these like practice sessions. Like we can work on it. She's like, Norberto, if you work, I swear I'll fire you. And I'm like, what? Like I did.
So wait a minute. You are here sitting in these people's hospital. You have gone through surgery, have been in comas, back out. You are now starting to still work
I'm a
via
workaholic.
a text to
I was
voice
like,
app
no,
at
I
the
don't.
hospital.
For me, I'm like, I don't want to let you down, and I think that's a trauma response. Because the thing is, because and again, we don't have to get into it, but for me, like, I think one of the things that one of my teammates we talked about this weekend is because when we're talking about the coaching offer, it was just like, okay, a lot of times your trauma is the gift you offer
Wow.
to the world. So I can offer services. I can work. I usually deliver far beyond what people had expected because I never got that as a kid. I
Ah,
never
there
had
we
that
go.
as a like in any space that I was at. I was clearly I'm not competitive that way, but I am somebody. I'm like, bro, I'm just gonna do my best. And if my best just is makes you look mediocre, I'm sorry, but like
Woo.
that's how I've always been.
Mm.
So as it relates to that, I knew I wanted to work because I don't like letting people down. Like, and also, I said it. I'm a man of my word. If I said it, I said it. That's it. Like, the whole Matthew 5:37. Like, hey, let your yes be yes,
Yes.
no be no.
No, we
I'm,
know.
I'm in. Like, if I can't commit, I don't want to tell you that. But she basically forced me to take a break. So I was like, fine.
She cared enough to make sure you were safe and healthy.
I love
Yes.
her. She's like right now she's something. She's an 80. She is 82 right now, and she's literally like down the street. I gotta visit her again, but she's awesome. But
Wow.
literally, she had said that. I also had some family member of mine that like I guess was like culturally insensitive. She showed up with a McDonald's cheeseburger. I like cheeseburgers from McDonald's, but I couldn't eat. So I'm just looking at her as she's eating this, crying because she's like, "You're alive, yay!" But she like took a bite of the burger, and I couldn't.
What?
It was like this text to voice app is monotonous in terms of its tone. So it just sounded like, I can't believe you. Why would you do this? This is all December 23rd, 22nd. It was bad.
Oh,
And then Christmas.
I'm sitting here hearing your story, and I'm so happy that you can be joyous about it, because there's so many people who would have came up here and they would have told this story, and it would have been every type of sob story known to man, and even the anecdote about the McDonald's of all things.
Well, I think to your point, like a lot of people have told me that, especially when I am presenting, that I should do that, and I have, because I know those things can be very serious, and it's true. But I think just given the format, my thing is always like scars are the evidence that healing is available,
And that's it.
and I have to show
Wow.
scars, and scars ain't pretty, but they've healed. I just know that sometimes I'm a jokester. I feel like I do too much. But yeah, I say that all to say is that again, I'm thinking, when is this gonna happen? When am I gonna go home? When am I gonna go out of this? Maybe it's not that serious. Then my doctor told me what it really was. Like, you should not be here right now. And I'm like, with the monotonous voice. But I was just like, yeah, it's crazy. It's like the fact that you even made it this far is
Wow.
insane. But when I'm bedridden, I can't speak, I can't eat, I can't move, and also he's telling me that I can barely see him because I'm kind of blind from like the. This is all in my
So,
head, so I don't know
yeah.
what they did, but like, but they're saying you're blessed. They're saying you
Wow.
made it. You're saying you're gonna be fine. They said you conquered,
Mm,
and I'm in my bed as he's saying that. Like, I'm in my deathbed as he's saying that.
my
And
goodness.
I'm like, that's so after every single thing, the one thing I've told any student that I've had or anybody that I've coached is like, yes, it's a lot. I do not mind if you have to take a moment, but you can't be a martyr for this. You can't be a
Mm,
martyr to the fear you had. So the do it scared thing for me is like, you do it scared because fear is just an emotion. It's not reality. And you can do the
mm,
thing. Like, it's like, there's no way I should be alive right now. I should not be here. I should not be told I'm blessed when I'm doomed. I feel like I'm like in Travis. I can't. So when people are
wow.
like, "Oh, I'm dealing with this with bills, or I'm dealing with this with like being able to speak with this, and I have this like summit coming up, and I need to present this as a corporate this, or like I have this presentation with school," I'm just like, "Okay, so do it." But you don't understand. I do. I
Of
get.
all the people, you get it.
I get it. However, I didn't know if that was going to be my last day on Earth. It technically was. So you don't know how much time you have left. Now that means
Mm,
that like you need to invest, you need to do it, you need to put bet on you because you are God's creature, you are God's
yes.
child. Then you bet on you. Like, if you're, I have never seen the righteous forsaken. Like,
Come on now.
if
You better
if
come
you're
on
wrong,
now.
if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. The problem is wisdom is proven to be right by its results. I don't think I am. And for everything, there was one thing I told the family member that was just kind of like wondering because they had to go back in, Patrice, for the second surgery. They're like, we only got 5%
Wow.
of the tumor out. Like, it was bad.
Okay.
Like, we had to stop the surgery because we knew for sure it was gonna happen. So we're glad it happened. But now you have to go to rehab to get strong enough for us to try it again.
Again.
I'm like, well, that's the most traumatizing thing I've ever heard. Uh, Cause I don't even know. I'm like, you're telling me you barely got anything out, so you're gonna try and take out the other 95% in a month, and like,
Oh.
hopefully I live through that one. They're like, we don't have a choice. You're gonna die either way. I'm like,
But it don't
okay,
have to be today.
yeah,
It's not
I
today.
could just delay it. I like to get to Christmas. Like, but But we got to the surgery, and someone, a family member of mine, she was just like, how can you be number like how can you be so calm about all this? And I told her, I'm like, look, at this point, you are so tired, you just tired. And it's just like, look, whether I wake up on the other side of the operating table or on another side of eternity, I've already won.
Wow.
Like and that is the relinquishment that we all need. Sometimes whatever your
Mhm.
struggles are, your troubles, and again, this ties back to communication, because the things that's stopping us from being our best communicators, our best selves, is the fear of, oh no, what if you don't let that go,
Mhm.
you're not going to move. And the sad part is you don't want to get to the end of your life and find out you died without being exhausted, meaning exhausted of the resources that you have. I made it a mission to die empty.
Mm.
Whatever he got from me, whatever I got to pour into people, whatever it is, I'm coming
Love
for all
that.
of it, because I already know that if I already know the lives I have changed on
Mm.
this, and I just gotten started. And I just think about, for everybody that is hearing this, if you
Wow.
only knew, if
Mm.
you
Mm.
only
Mm.
knew, and coming from somebody who legitimately came back from the edge of death, I'm telling you,
Wow.
if you only knew. If my story ended in 2018, the one thing I know for a fact is there were a lot of things I was terrified to do I didn't do. This second lap of life that has happened in the last 8 years is like
Wow.
dwarfs everything I've ever had in life. All because I made a decision to try it, even if I'm terrified. That's literally my
So
challenge to everybody: is you gotta do it.
I love how you talk about coming back from the other side and knowing that the thing that people wrestle with, because we tend to wrestle with fear more than anything. And it sounds like once you got back up this time, it was like, there is nothing stopping me now. I don't care about fear. I'm kicking that heifer to the side. There is no problems here. There is nothing else to stand in the way. Things that may have before been a hindrance. Now I'm like, listen, let me take this and I'm going to take this rap and I'm going to run with it until the wheels fall off. And I love that because it is really a push of, if you didn't have tomorrow, if this was the last day, would you still let that fear capture you? Or would you kick its butt to the side and move forward? That's, oh my gosh, that right there is that. But hold on, because I gotta get this last part in, because you just have inspired me all the way through this. And I love how you talk about doing it scared. So I'm gonna go back to that opening question when we talked about how do you get that path of communication there. You talked about letting that fear go so that you could communicate. But what does that look like in a classroom for the kid that's back there, that maybe the mini you when you first started this, that wasn't really one that was ready to really have those conversations, that wasn't ready to be bold like you are right now. Maybe their knees are knocking a little bit. What advice would you give that kid?
Know if you're scared or not. A lot of
Know
times
if you're
we
scared or
like to
not.
say, I don't know a lot. I
Mm.
decay, or I'm not sure. I'm like, you let your yay be yay, you let your nay be nay. Like, that's
Okay.
true across the board. But also emotional awareness. Like,
Wow.
are you scared? Is this a lot? Don't just be like, oh, I don't feel like it. No, bro, you're terrified. Which is fine. Public speaking is a top fear. That's not the problem, though. Once you identify it, you have to come up with ways to be able to get better. So that
Okay.
means articulation. And this is going to sound very simple, but one of the assignments that I plugged in from my students, and I still do with a lot of my clients, is I want you to make voice memos every single day. I don't want you.
Mm.
I'm like, anytime that, like, anybody that got my number, I'm like, they get voice memos from me. I'm like, don't text me in words. I don't want to hear it. I don't. I know. I want to hear you. So I want you to send me voice memos. Some of my clients are speakers. I'm like, hey, send me keynotes. Like, send me the mini 7-10 minute keynote. Make a different keynote every single day. What if it's the lighting, bro? I don't care about the lighting. Just do it and see what happens. And what typically happens psychologically is, because you've had so many of the reps, you start to practice consistency. Once we practice the consistency, then I can lay out what's the problem. I call that red
Mm.
flags. And again, the red flags are just like, hey, she a 10, but like she don't brush her teeth. Like it's that type of thing. That's just
What?
this is real. The kids go ballistic about that. Because then I flip it on, okay, you would have got a 90%, but you didn't study. Because you think Red
Gotcha.
Bull is like your magic pill. You would have
Ah,
delivered that presentation very well if you ate breakfast that morning. You
gotcha.
didn't practice that much, but you think you just gonna wing it when you terrified. That's not gonna work. So a lot of it is okay, what do the reps really look like? And then once I hear and see everything, I'm like, okay, we're gonna pick apart this. We're gonna look at the first time we look at this, we're gonna look at your tone. How's your
Okay.
tone? Are you monotonous the entire time, or is it like up and down, but it's like wrong places? You emphasize words that maybe shouldn't be emphasized then. Like you gotta figure that out. Then the next time we listen to it, okay, how's your pacing? Are you somebody that can't
Mm.
breathe? So you just like word vomit like you are, is that what you do?
Okay.
We got to work on that. Then we have to work on okay, eye contact. A lot of my students here that you like looking at chins, you like looking at shoulders, you like looking at everything but somebody's face. And I think you should consider that you shouldn't. Because again, with AI being how it is, emotional connection is not really becoming much. How do you build relationships if you can't look at people?
Right.
And for a
I
lot of
agree.
the students, it's like, okay, like college reps. What are the filler words you got to get out of your vocabulary? Yo, the N word,
Mhm.
making sure that like there's a lot of things that I'm like, okay, that's filler words. So then I have to teach code switching, not just code
Mm.
switching because of like the hood versus like school, but like
Yeah.
also how do you speak to this college admissions officer versus how do you speak to your mother versus how do you speak to like your supervisor at TJ Maxx. Those are three different people. Those are three different areas. Then it's like, okay, what are the things systematically you need to do? So that means, okay, you get hangry. So eat breakfast. I don't feel like it. Eat breakfast, bro. I don't. Feelings cannot be the dictator. We need to execute without emotion. So that means you eat
Mm.
because you know, even if you don't feel it like it right now, we know that at 150, based on what we've been working on over the last couple of weeks, I know at 1:56 p.m. you are going to have a conversation with your supervisor. He gonna say something that he wasn't emotionally intelligent enough to word it in a way that would have made sense, but you caught it some type of way. So you gonna say something, you gonna come left, and then you're gonna get a write up. You're gonna be
Ah.
mad, you're gonna bitch on Instagram because of the fact that oh, they don't know who I am. And I'm
Yep.
like,
You
bro, if
hit
you
it.
just ate a butter roll, we would have been fine. That so you're telling me that $1.50 possibly cost you a year's salary because you weren't
Wow.
emotionally aware to realize there are things I have to do systematically. Another thing is if you're presenting, you have to go through it memo wise. You have to go through it. You have to rep it. Like this should not be the first time you present. It should be probably your 15th. And you should
Gotcha.
also try different sounds. I love what ifs because it's okay. This is your speech. Got it. Now, what if you said it funny? So like it was like a stand-up comedy. So you get the mic and you're like, "Hey guys, so we're gonna talk about fractions." Like, do that. Now let's try about it like as if it was like a telenovela, like a drama, like a soap opera. It's just like fractions. Like you could do that. Okay, now let's think about like what
Mm.
does it look like for you to do it like a sarcastic? Because then the tonalities are going to be good. And it's like, okay, now when we look at your speech, it's like, okay, you be that sarcastic tone, not the whole time, but in that sentence. Be dramatic here.
Gotcha.
Because again, you can't do it by emotions. You can't. It has to be a system. So in short, that's what I feel like people can do. But to start,
Hmm.
whip out your phone, get on the voice memo app, and just start talking. For 3 minutes, don't even have a structure yet. And then play it back and be like, okay, that's the problem.
I love how you talked about that small pieces, right? Because so many people think you got to have these massive changes overnight. And a voice note is something simple you can do, whether you ride on the train, whether you're in the car, on the bus, whether you're just taking a minute to walk. That voice note is an easy little way of putting that little piece into practice. And it doesn't feel overwhelming. I love that. Thank you for that quick tip. Now, how do we deal with this when we at the schoolhouse and we have the administrator from the Blue Lagoon? That's the nice way I'm gonna put it. How do I build that rapport with them so that we can have that path of good communication in the process?
Stop ignoring yourself.
Stop ignoring yourself. Go
So
deeper.
the problem is when you think about somebody in like corporate level, and I get this all the time, or have before when I used to work in a brick and mortar setting of like, okay, superintendents, the big CMO people are like, they're coming, beware. And the first couple of times, I'm like, okay, let me research what I probably think they want me to be like. And that didn't work because I
Mm,
just got tired of pretending. I mean, I'm an actor, but like after a while, I was just like, oh my gosh. So then I'm like, I wonder what happens if I just kind of threw the script down and just be me.
I
And,
like
be,
that.
and what happened was it was a little unorthodox because they were like, this seems a little off. And then they go to my supervisor and they're like, have you seen the way he teaches? Like, have you seen the results he gets? Then they go back and they're like, oh, okay. But the thing is, what I learned was it can't just be just me. And it can't be me pretending to be someone I'm not.
Mm,
It has to be a new version of you. So
that's
if that is, again, we're just going to go with the scripture. Paul says it. For the weak, I became weak so that I may win the weak. Like, this is not Paul becoming weak. This is not, he's not being feeble. We know Paul is a gangster. However,
true.
like, he knows that I need to speak to, communicate with, connect with certain people a certain way. So even if
Mm,
I have to like speak your language again, we talk code switching. It's okay
mm-hmm.
if I can communicate with you a certain way. I'm still me though. So like if you don't like certain things, you finna not like certain things because you don't like me.
Mm,
But if I'm me, I like me. Therefore, we good on that. Now I know I have to speak to you a certain way, so I have to throw KPIs in my sentences. That's perfectly fine. But
okay.
also the flavor of who I am cannot be relinquished. And what happens is you don't communicate properly because you have an identity crisis because you try to make yourself take a backseat because you think it's what they don't want. Plus, you want to memorize a whole bunch of
Mm,
jargon, so you're disingenuous. And then when it ends up happening, it just leads to like uncomfortable confrontations. So it just isn't worth it. Just be you.
okay. Well, I love that piece when you talk about being you, because I think I think we're in a day, especially with social media, that people, they want this pristine looking life. And I'm gonna be very honest with you, life is so messy. It is so messy.
Yeah.
And we've been trained that if you go into this room, it has to look this particular way. And oh my gosh, you have this out of place, it's not together. And that's not real life. I think we're doing ourselves a disservice by getting caught up in social media instead of just really being ourselves and being open to the messiness of life. So I want to wrap this because I feel like you have an awesome word to live on. For you, what would be that word to live on that you would want to share with anyone?
Do it scared. Speak with power. And to just add a small clarification note,
Mhm.
doing it scared, you should be informed when you do it, but informed, not paralyzed in fear. And to
Yes.
speak with power doesn't mean just speak. Speak
Mm.
with power, do with power, move with power, be bold with power, communicate with power, love them with power. Because you know you don't want to love them, but that's not what you were called to do. And you
Mm.
know that. So your emotions take a back seat to what you were commanding to do. But everything you do has to be with that power. And doing it
Listen.
scared is like, hey, do it even if
Wow.
you are terrified, because that's what's going to
Mm.
lead to growth.
Listen, guys, I don't know about you, but I done had a whole service up in here. I might as well go ahead and pass the plate and go ahead and get the cash app so I can throw some money in the pocket because he done gave me some good stuff. This was amazing. Oh my gosh. Listen, I need y'all to make sure y'all tune on in, tell a friend, share this episode with someone else so they can get an opportunity to hear how they should walk it out, what it looks like. First, to hear an awesome testimony. Two, then they get an opportunity to move from the awesome testimony to things they can put into practice in their own lives. I love how you gave us a testimony to the tips, and then you left us with some words to live on that just not for the moment, but they give us a guide for a lifetime. And I really am so honored, first and foremost, that you even took time to talk with me today and just sit down with me and just have this conversation that is not just a moment conversation, but truly a lifetime conversation. So I want to thank you once again. Listen, guys, I know I jumped in here today. We had a lot going on, but I got to stop and thank my sponsor, the 3S Movement. These ladies come in, they work extremely hard. They want to make the world a better place through mental health and mental wellness. They make it truly easy to come in, have those conversations, and to really just be you and heal from what you've been through. So if you get an opportunity, check those ladies out. I'll leave that information in the actual, I think it's description. And here's what I'm going to say to you. Join me next week for another amazing episode of the Patrice Brantley Show. We're on this show, helping others is the name of the game, and we push purpose, positivity, and personal growth.